This has been called the City of Eternal Spring for centuries, with near perfect weather year-round, lush greenery pretty much everywhere that you look, and a history as a weekend playground for Mexico City's mid to high-class residents. But what's most is that people don't understand or don't know that Cuernavaca is seriously not just for the elite. It's a real, vibrant city where you can enjoy that perfect climate pretty much every single day, and you're only 1.5 hours away from Mexico City. But you live far enough that you truly feel like you're living in a beautiful pueblo with lots of greenery and lots of just freedom. And it's also a lot less expensive than some of these saturated expat destinations. So in this video, I want to show you what living in Cuernavaca is truly like. From traditional neighborhoods with strong local culture to elegant yet very affordable residential areas, Cuernavaca really does offer a balance of authenticity, comfort, and value that you really won't find in many other Mexican towns. So welcome back to Mexico Relocation Guide. My name is Mariana, and by the end of this video, you will know more about what it's truly like to live in Cuernavaca. From cost of living, to rental examples, to how to get around, to what the infrastructure is like, things to do, the cons of living here, and so much more. That way, you will know if Cuernavaca is worth being on your short list of places to consider moving to Mexico. So what do you say? Comencemos. First, let's talk about where Cuernavaca is and why its location is so special. First, it's the capital of the state of Morelos, which is located in a tropical valley just about a 90-minute drive south of Mexico City. Cuernavaca has about 400,000 residents, so it's not exactly a small city, but certainly not a huge city either. Now, one of the most unique things about this city is its geography. The whole area is crossed by deep natural ravines or barrancas, which create beautiful green corridors right through the urban landscape. Now, it's also a city built on a slope, so the northern neighborhoods are at a higher altitude, making them cooler, while the downtown area is lower and noticeably warmer. Now, this geography is a secret to its world-famous nickname, the City of Eternal Spring, or La Eterna Primavera. The weather here is simply fascinating, incredible, just so nice. Now, the perfect weather also means lower utility bills, no need for central heating, no really need for central air conditioning, and afternoons by the pool in January, all while avoiding the extreme heat that many coastal expat towns have to deal with year-round. Now, most days of the year, the temperatures you'll experience are highs around the 75 and 85 degree Fahrenheit, or about 24 to 29 degrees Celsius. Now, it's warm enough for a swim in the afternoon, but comfortable enough to sleep really well at night. The summer brings a rainy season, which means predictable afternoon thunderstorms that make the city's famous gardens explode with life, and because it's in a lush valley, it is a bit more humid than other highland cities, but that's actually what keeps everything so green and beautiful all year long. And it also helps people with allergies because of the very dusty or dry conditions in some other central highland areas to not have to worry about that in Cuernavaca. So what does it actually feel like to live in the City of Eternal Spring? Well, the vibe here is all about one word: relaxation. This is a city built for enjoying a comfortable outdoor lifestyle. The warm air, the scent of blooming flowers, and the sounds from the lush gardens are the backdrop to everyday life here. It has a permanent vacation-like feel that encourages everyone who lives here to slow down. Now, because of this, social life here in Cuernavaca is a little bit different than in other Mexican cities, because it's very much about a relaxed way of life here, and that's exactly what has attracted a large number of Mexicans and foreigners who come here to enjoy a more peaceful life. Now, the overall pace is noticeably slower than in a big city. It's a pace where the main goal isn't to rush, but to truly relax and enjoy the beautiful surroundings you call home. Now, here's the surprising part. Despite how close it is to Mexico City, Cuernavaca has not had the massive expat wave that you see in places like San Miguel de Allende or in Ajijic. It's still very much a Mexican city with that Mexican flavor, that Mexican folklore. You won't see a lot of foreigners here. You might see them traveling, but you won't see a lot of foreigners living here, and you certainly won't hear English being spoken everywhere. So now that you know where it's located, what the weather is like, where in Cuernavaca would you actually live? I'm going to explore 3 neighborhoods that each offer a unique version of that eternal spring experience, starting off with Colonia Miguel Hidalgo. This is a perfect example of the classic upscale Cuernavaca lifestyle. We're highlighting this area because it offers that elegant residential feel with beautiful homes and gardens, but in a location that feels more connected and accessible, and some of the super exclusive gated communities, which I know some of you are very interested in. So the vibe here is very much about privacy, tranquility. The neighborhood is defined by its main artery, the beautiful palm tree-lined Avenida Palmira, which is home to modern apartment towers and high-end businesses. But as soon as you turn into the inner streets, things become quiet and residential. Now here you'll find large, beautiful homes, often with a mix of classic Cuernavaca and modern architectural styles. Now this is the kind of neighborhood where you can enjoy a peaceful home while still having quick access to great restaurants, services, and the main highway. Now, based on our research, the rental market here focuses on very much larger and independent homes, so not really apartments, although you will find some of those. To give you an idea, a comfortable 3-bedroom house, often with its own garden and sometimes a small pool, will typically rent for 20,000 to 30,000 pesos. That's about 1,000 to about 1,600 US dollars a month. Living in Miguel Hidalgo is all about enjoying that classic private Cuernavaca lifestyle that has modern conveniences nearby, all while enjoying that privacy. Now, while the inner neighborhood is very quiet, its proximity to the busy Avenida Palmira and the highway means it's not as silent or anything like that as you would expect. It's a great choice for those who value higher class or higher end homes and convenience, and for those who a car is a part of daily life. So you will need a car to actually live here. Next up, we're exploring one of Cuernavaca's most charming and historic neighborhoods, Acapatzingo. Now it's famous for its almost jungle-like feel with narrow winding streets and an incredible connection to nature, all while being very close to the center of Cuernavaca. Now the vibe here is bohemian, peaceful, close to nature, and artistic. It's home to the beautiful Jardín Etnobotánico, which is a botanical garden that was once the country retreat of Emperador Maximiliano. And while many parts of Acapatzingo can be a bit more upscale, many streets have more modest yet charming houses at mid-range prices. It's green, historic, and close to Centro, making it perfect for those who want character without breaking the bank. Now, the houses here are a mix of smaller bungalows, classic Cuernavaca-style homes with larger, mature gardens, and some newer, more modern apartment complexes. To give you an idea of what rentals go for here, you can find a charming 2-bedroom bungalow or small house, often with its own private garden space, typically renting for 14,000 to 20,000 pesos per month. That's about 750 to about 1,000 US dollars, depending on the exchange rate. For a modern 2-bedroom apartment, in one of the newer, secure complexes in the area, you can expect to pay around 16,000 pesos per month. That's around 850 US dollars. Now, living in Acapatzingo is about embracing a lifestyle here where nature and history are right at your doorstep. Now, you don't need a car to live here because depending on where you are, you're only about a 15 to 25-minute walk to the centro of Cuernavaca. Although you should know that Cuernavaca is hilly and Acapatzingo has winding, narrow streets. Now, the walk to Centro is mostly downhill, but coming back can be a bit of a workout. So you could always walk down and take an Uber or a taxi back home. And our final stop, we're exploring one of the neighborhoods that is known for that luxurious Cuernavaca lifestyle that you might have heard of, and that is Vista Hermosa. Now, this is one of Cuernavaca's most famous and sought-after residential areas. It's known for its upscale atmosphere, its 24/7 security, and it has beautiful sprawling properties. Now, a little historical detail is that this area was one of the first modern luxury developments in the city. It was designed in the 40s and 50s for wealthy families from Mexico City to build their weekend garden estates here. Now, that legacy continues today, and the streets are wide, leafy, and incredibly beautiful. It's a prime example of Cuernavaca's behind the walls kind of culture, where incredible gardens and beautiful homes are tucked away. You would never notice how much house is behind these walls. Now, despite its quiet feel, the neighborhood is also home to some of the city's best private schools. It has also the best upscale restaurants, specialty shops, which make it that upgraded kind of high-end feel. Now, to give you an idea of what prices go for around here, you can find a luxury 3-bedroom apartment in a modern, secure complex with a shared pool, often renting for 25,000 to 35,000 pesos per month. That's anywhere between 1,300 to about 1,800 US dollars a month. Now, for a classic, unfurnished 4-bedroom house with its own private big garden, a pool, then prices typically start at 40,000 pesos per month, and that's about 2,100 US dollars, which is not crazy considering this is one of the highest end neighborhoods in Cuernavaca. So just please note that while you have great amenities within Vista Hermosa, you have things like restaurants, bakeries, small convenience stores, all of those things are within walking distance. But the neighborhood itself is a car-dependent neighborhood. It's not the kind of neighborhood that is walking distance to the historic center. So having a car here will most likely be a must if you want to just get out of the neighborhood to get to the centro or to explore other parts of Mexico. Now, a lot of you have asked me, Mariana, how do you find these rentals? And when I moved to Mexico, how can I find rentals like you do? Well, that's exactly why I created a free email series called the Finding Rentals Like Locals Do. And you get 8 emails over a few weeks, and I walk you through the exact websites and Facebook groups that I would search, what questions you should always ask before signing a lease, and the kinds of documents that you might need to secure a long-term rental in Mexico. Because I'm not a realtor, I have had this information fact-checked by my vetted realtor contacts. That way you are getting accurate information. Now, I'll also share why I almost always recommend renting before buying. You also will find out about common scams that I've seen when renting and how to avoid them, and how to connect with the right local realtors who actually know the neighborhood. So if you're serious about finding the perfect rental in Mexico like a local would, sign up for that free email series. The link is in the description of this video. All right, now let's break down your essential monthly bills in Cuernavaca. The costs are very reasonable, but keep in mind that things like running a pool pump or using air conditioning can certainly add to your electricity bill. Now, starting with electricity, because Cuernavaca tends to be spring-like weather, but it does have some warm months, some homes may use air conditioning only on the hottest times of the year, which is usually 1 to 2 months, usually April or May or June. Now, if you don't use air conditioning, your bi-monthly bill will be low, around 500 to 700 pesos per month. That's about 13 to 19 US dollars a month. If you do use air conditioning, however, you can expect close to 30 to 80 dollars a month, depending on your usage. But it is very rare to spend more than $80 a month on electricity here. Now, the city's water service is managed by SAPAC. You'll be billed monthly, and for a standard 2-person household, the cost is typically between 400 and 600 pesos per month, which is about 22 to 32 US dollars. And that is if your rental does not include water, which a lot of rentals in the Central Highlands of Mexico tend to include some level of electricity, some level of water, some level of gas. Now, speaking of gas, natural gas or propane is used for cooking and heating water. Now, filling a standard 30-kilo tank will cost about 600 pesos, and that's about 32 US dollars. Now, that tank should last a 2-person household about 2 months, depending on how much you cook, how much water you heat, and those kinds of things. And then for internet, a reliable high-speed package of 100 megabytes per second will cost between 500 and 650 pesos per month. That's about 27 to 35 US dollars. So totaling that up for a couple not using air conditioning every day, a comfortable monthly budget for all essential utilities will cost you about 90 to 130 US dollars a month. So that's what your essential utilities might look like. But what about the overall budget? Well, here's a quick snapshot of what it would cost a couple to live comfortably in Cuernavaca. Now, one of the greatest things about the city of Cuernavaca is the incredible variety you have for grocery shopping, from traditional mercados or markets to big modern supermarkets. For the freshest and most affordable produce, you have to explore the local mercados. While many neighborhoods have their own, we visited the Mercado Lomas de la Selva, which is a great example of a clean, well-organized market where you can buy everything from fresh vegetables, meat, flowers, household goods, spices, and everything in between. It's a perfect spot for your daily shopping. For your big weekly one-stop shop, you'll find all of Mexico's major supermarket chains conveniently located throughout the city. You have chains like Walmart, Chedraui Selecto, Soriana, and La Comer. And for those who love to buy in bulk, there is also a Costco wholesale in town. If you're looking for healthy and specialty items, Cuernavaca's organic scene is well established. We visited a wonderful store called Punto de Origen, which has a great selection of organic, vegan, and some harder to find products. But there are many others, so a quick Google search for tiendas orgánicas en Cuernavaca will show you all the great options available near you. Okay, so you've got your shopping figured out for staying healthy, but what happens if you actually get sick? Well, let's talk about your healthcare options here in Cuernavaca. The good news is that it has a very strong and well-established healthcare system, with excellent options for everything from a simple cold to a serious emergency. For minor, everyday issues, the most convenient choice is the pharmacy doctor. You'll find reputable chains like Farmacias del Ahorro all over the city where you can get a professional consultation for a very small fee and have your prescription filled on the spot. It's fast, it's convenient, you don't have to use insurance, you don't have to make an appointment, and it's a very affordable system. Now, for more serious conditions, specialized care, or even emergencies, Cuernavaca is home to several highly regarded private hospitals. The two most well-known for their modern facilities and high standard of care are Hospital Henry Dunant and Hospital Center Morelos. You'll find excellent doctors and specialists at both facilities. Now, because of its long history as a popular place for retirees, the city has a very robust network of doctors, specialists, and diagnostic clinics. So you can feel very secure knowing that high-quality medical care is readily available. But if you do, for whatever reason, need to find a specialist that might not be in Cuernavaca, or you just have a very, very specific chronic condition, you're only about an hour and a half away from Mexico City, which has the best hospitals in all of Mexico. So how do you get around a sprawling city like Cuernavaca? Well, this is a really important topic, so I'm going to be direct. Of many of the cities that we feature on this channel, this is one where I would highly recommend having a car. The city is very spread out, and the lifestyle in the beautiful residential neighborhoods that we've shown you is built around privacy. So that means that a car is almost essential for daily errands like grocery shopping, visiting friends, and truly exploring everything the city has to offer, and also exploring the beauty around Morelos and Mexico in general. Now, that doesn't mean that you'll be in your car all the time. Of course, in the Centro Histórico or many areas of Cuernavaca, it's a really good way to get around on foot. If you choose not to have a car, you can totally still get around, don't get me wrong. The city has a network of local buses, often called rutas, that are the most affordable way to get around. Now, for more convenience and for more privacy, you can obviously opt to get into an Uber or a Didi, which are everywhere and work really well. And then you also have plenty of taxis in town. Now, finally, to get in and out of the city, you're only 90 minutes away from the major Mexico International Airport. And of course, to get to Cuernavaca from the International Airport, there are nice buses going from the airport to Cuernavaca that cost less than $25 per trip on a very comfortable bus. One very popular option is the company Pullman de Morelos, which leaves about every 1.5 hours. Now, you also have a few beautiful towns to explore nearby, and these are the magical town of Tepoztlán, which, by the way, we have a great video of on this channel, which is only 30 minutes away. And then you also have the silver mining charm of Tasco. So really, it's all nearby. Okay, so we talked about the beautiful weather, the relaxed lifestyle, and Cuernavaca just looks like a beautiful town that has nothing wrong with it, right? Of course, that could not be the truth. There's always going to be no city is perfect. So first, let's address safety and security. Now, for many years, Cuernavaca and the state of Morelos have faced security challenges. While many residents live a very peaceful life without any issues, especially in the more secure northern neighborhoods, it is a reality that you need to be more aware of your surroundings here than in some other, maybe more popular expat cities across Mexico. And I mean, these are crimes of opportunity, usually petty theft and those kinds of things. Now, second, as we mentioned earlier, the city is very car dependent. Now, this also means that you will have to deal with significant traffic, especially on weekends when many visitors from Mexico City come and visit. Now, if you dream of a life where you can walk everywhere for your daily needs, Cuernavaca could be a frustrating choice depending on where in the city you live. And finally, the cost of living, while it is significantly lower than many cities in the United States for a very similar, charming, beautiful town, it can be high for Mexican standards. Because of its long history as a luxury getaway for the capital's elite, the cost of housing and services, especially things like home maintenance, gardeners, pool care, can be higher than in many other colonial cities. But it is the price you pay for living in the city of eternal spring. And again, comparing it to a lot of cities in Canada and the United States where you have spring-like weather every day, it's beautiful, you have really nice homes, a really nice historic center. I mean, it's really not that high. As with any city, these are important factors to weigh against the many wonderful benefits of the lifestyle of Cuernavaca. Now, I personally think that Cuernavaca offers a bit of everything. It's a city built around the idea of having nice, beautiful weather year-round, a place to slow down, enjoy the nature, and live in a beautiful town surrounded by everything that you really would find in a large city, but not with the chaos of Mexico City or a large city like Mexico City, but close enough that you could travel there for museums, the best restaurants, the best medical centers, getting in and out of Mexico's largest airport, and those kinds of things. So I would love to know, what do you think? I would love for you to leave a comment down below. I think Cuernavaca offers a truly unique lifestyle in Mexico. It's a city built around the idea of creating your own private paradise, a place to slow down, enjoy the weather, surrounded by nature, and it's really known as the city of eternal spring for a reason. So, if you want to know more about living in Cuernavaca, or maybe you're interested in a private relocation tour, make sure you check out our website, mexicorelocationguide.com/tours, to learn more about booking a relocation tour in Cuernavaca or maybe some other city in Mexico. That's it for today, amigos. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video of Cuernavaca to be helpful, please give it a like. This is not goodbye. This is just an hasta luego. I will see you all in our next video. Nos vemos.